Cloudflare has quietly become one of the most interesting companies in AI infrastructure. Not by building a chatbot or a foundation model, but by doing what they've always done best, sitting in the middle of the internet and making everything faster and smarter. Their new AI platform is essentially an inference layer, a dedicated runtime designed specifically for AI agents. Not just hosting models, not just proxying API calls, a full stack environment where agents can think, act, remember, and communicate. All running on Cloudflare's global edge network, spanning over 300 cities worldwide. Here's the dirty secret about building AI agents today. The models themselves, getting cheaper and better every month. The hard part is everything else. Agents need to store state between steps. They need to call tools and external APIs. They need to coordinate with other agents. They need to do all of this fast enough that users don't give up and walk away. Most developers end up stitching together 5 different cloud services. A vector database here, a message queue there, a compute instance somewhere else. And suddenly, your simple AI feature is a distributed systems nightmare. Cloudflare looked at this mess and said, what if we just solved all of it in one place? Let's break down what Cloudflare is actually shipping here. First, Workers AI. Their inference runtime that lets you run models directly on the edge, no cold starts, no GPU provisioning headaches. They support a growing catalog of open source models from Meta, Mistral, and others. Second, Vectorize. Their vector database built for semantic search and RAG pipelines, deeply integrated so your agents can retrieve relevant context with minimal latency. Third, and this is the big one for agent workflows, durable objects. These are stateful compute primitives that let your agents maintain memory and coordinate long-running tasks across multiple steps. And wrapping it all together is Workers, their serverless execution environment that's already handling trillions of requests. This isn't a collection of loosely bolted-on features. It's a coherent stack built for the agentic era. Now, why does it matter that this runs at the edge? Think about latency. When your agent makes a decision, calls a tool, gets a result, and loops back, that cycle might happen dozens of times in a single user interaction. If each hop adds 200 milliseconds because you're routing to a centralized data center, those delays compound fast. Running inference at the edge means your agent's brain is physically close to your users, whether they're in Tokyo, São Paulo, or Berlin. Cloudflare claims this can cut inference latency dramatically compared to traditional centralized approaches. For real-time applications like voice agents, coding assistants, or autonomous workflows, that difference isn't just nice to have. It's the difference between a product that feels alive and one that feels broken. This post hit Hacker News with over 300 points and 85 comments, which, for infrastructure content, is a strong signal that developers are paying attention. The community reactions were interesting. Some praised the unified approach, calling it the missing glue layer for production agent systems. Others raised sharp questions. How does the model catalog compare to running frontier models from OpenAI or Anthropic? What are the pricing dynamics at scale? And a recurring theme, is this a bet that open source models running on commodity GPUs at the edge can actually compete with GPT-4 class models for real agent tasks? That last question cuts to the heart of it. Cloudflare's platform makes the most sense if you believe, and there's real evidence for this, that many agentic tasks don't need the biggest, most expensive models. A well-designed system with fast, efficient, smaller models might outperform a slow, expensive one in practice. So, who is this actually for right now? If you're a solo developer or a small team building agent-powered apps, and you're already in the Cloudflare ecosystem, this is an obvious next step to explore. The developer experience is designed to feel familiar. Deploy a worker, add AI capabilities, connect your vector store. No new clouds to learn. For larger teams, the real question is whether the model quality and catalog depth meets your production requirements. And that gap is closing fast as open source models keep improving. Looking forward, Cloudflare is positioning themselves to be the AWS of the agentic internet. Not the company that builds the AI brain, but the company that builds the nervous system everything runs on. And if history is any guide, infrastructure bets at internet scale tend to compound very, very quietly until suddenly they're everywhere.